Hello, dear viewers. Welcome once again to my new lecture. Today, I will give lecture on income elasticity of demand. In last two lectures, I explained the impact of change in price on demand and supply. In this lecture today, I'll explain the impact of change in income on demand. That means if income of the people increases, what will happen to the demand of the people? We know that in general, if income of the people increases, they purchase more goods and services. But all the goods and services they don't buy equally. Why? Okay. To get the answer of this question, why, we have to explain income elasticity of demand. Right? So to find out the answer of this question, let me explain income elasticity of demand by showing the presentation of today's lecture. Income elasticity of demand. After price, income is the most important factor that can affect the demand for the products. For most products, a change in income of the consumers will result in a change in the quantity demanded. However, the change in demand may vary according to the nature of the product. From this concept, we can define income elasticity of demand, which means that income elasticity of demand is the responsiveness of quantity demanded for a good to a change in consumer income. It is measured as the ratio of the percentage change in quantity demanded to the percentage change in income. We can use this formula for calculating income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand equals to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income, or we can make it short. Percentage change in QD divided by percentage change in Y. One important thing is that here IED or YED both are same, don't get confused. We use normally Y for income, and in the upper levels, we are using YED for income elasticity of demand, but at this level, we can use IED for meaning income elasticity of demand. Usually we use I for investment, okay, but here we are using I for income, no problem, so don't get confused. IED and YED both are same. Now let me show you how to calculate IED. To make it easy, let's consider two products A and B. If incomes of the consumer increase by 10%, quantity demanded for product A increases by 25%, but quantity demanded for product B increases by 5%. Therefore, IED for product A equals to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in income. Here the value of percentage change in income is given 10% and quantity demanded is given 25%. So after calculation, we are getting this value for product A, which is greater than 1. Therefore, IED for product A is in income elastic. In case of elastic IED, small change in income results in large change in quantity demanded. It is clear here, income increased by 10%, but quantity demanded increased by 25%. So it is income elastic IED. This is just opposite for product B. For product B, percentage change in income is same 10%, but the percentage change in income is only 5%, which is lesser than increase in income. So the value of IED is 0.5, which is less than 1. Therefore, IED for the product B is income inelastic. In case of income in elastic IED, a large change in income results a small change in quantity demanded. Now let me move to the types of the IED. It is little bit different from types of PES and PED. Here we use high, unitary, low, zero, and negative terms for defining different types of IED. Let me show you, explain you at first high IED. High IED means rise in income comes with bigger increase in quantity demanded. That means in case of high or elastic IED, percentage change in income, percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than that of income. So high IED or elastic IED both are same. Remember here percentage change in income is lesser than percentage change in quantity demanded. And unitary, here the rise in income is proportionate to the increase in the quantity demanded. That means in case of unitary elastic IED, percentage in change in quantity demanded is equal to percentage change in income. All right. And low IED and inelastic IED, these two are same, which means that a jump in income is less than proportionate increase in the quantity demanded. That means In case of low or inelastic IED, percentage change in quantity demanded will be less than percentage change in income. So income will increase more, demand will increase, but it will increase less in case of low or inelastic IED. Next is zero IED. In this case, the quantity demanded is the same even if income changes. That means in case of zero or perfectly inelastic IED, income change has no impact on demand. Demand will remain same at any level of income. Next is negative income elasticity. Negative income elasticity means an increase in income comes with a decrease in the quantity demanded. That means in this case, when income increases, demand for the product decreases. So this is called the negative income elasticity of demand. Now let me move to the next slide. Types of the goods. Depending on the value of elasticity, we can categorize goods into 4 different categories: normal goods, inferior goods, necessary goods, and luxurious goods. Now let me explain at first normal goods. When demand for the goods increase due to increase in the income are called normal goods and vice versa. That means if income increases, demand will increase, and if the income decreases, demand will also decrease. So those goods are called as normal goods. This means that an increase in income leads to an increase in demand for the good. When the equation gives a positive result, the good is a normal good. That means for normal good, there are 2 important things you have to keep in mind. First thing is, it has a positive relationship with income. That means if income increases, demand will also increase. If income falls, demand will also fall. This is first thing. Second thing is, after calculating the value of IED, we'll get the positive value. Okay. So if the value of IED is positive, that means the good is normal good. For example, if demand for apples rose by 4% after a 10% rise in income, then y equals to 4 divided by 10 equals to 0.4. So here 0.4, this is a positive value, okay, positive figure, right? Here there is no sign, means here positive sign. So it is a positive value. So the good is normal here. So apple is normal good here. The positive sign means that the good is normal good, and because the coefficient is smaller than 1, demand for the good responds less than proportionately to a change in income. So here, in this case, apple is normal good, but it has inelastic demand, inelastic ID. Why? The value of elasticity is less than 1. So in this case, apple has inelastic demand, but it is normal good. It is normal good because the value is positive. It is inelastic because the value is less than 1. This indicates the good is necessity, like food. But if coefficient is greater than 1, the good would be considered a relative luxurious for this individual. That means if the value is less than 1, if the value of ID is positive and less than 1, it is necessary. If the value is positive and at the same time it is greater than 1, then it is luxury. Okay? Well, luxury and necessity will explain later on once again. Now let me move to luxury and necessary goods. Luxury goods. Goods for which an increase in demand causes a bigger percentage change in demand are called luxurious goods. Therefore, for luxurious goods, value of IED or YED is greater than 1. So this is main important thing to remember. For luxurious goods, value will be greater than 1, and definitely it will be positive value. Okay. For example, if spending of consumers on home appliances increase by 25% after a 10% increase in income, these are luxurious goods. So home appliances are luxurious goods here because here increase in demand is more than increase in income. So after calculating the YED, we are getting the value 2.5, which is greater than 1. That means here home appliances are normal goods and they are luxurious goods also. Normal goods because the value is positive, and luxurious goods because the value is greater than 1. Right? Luxurious goods will also be normal goods. Just now I said. And we can say they will be income elastic. All right. So as I said, luxurious goods are normal goods because they have positive value, and they are income elastic because their value is greater than 1. This means an increase in income leads to a greater percentage increase in demand. Therefore, the value is greater than 1. And now come to the necessity. Okay, necessities are the basic goods that consumers need to buy. Examples include food, in general, electricity, water, petrol, etc. In case of necessities, the value of income elasticity of demand is between +1 and -1. That means the value of elasticity is less than 1 for the necessity. Right? Now let me move to the next slide. Inferior good. Goods for which an increase in income results in a decrease in the quantity demanded are called inferior goods. In this case, value of income elasticity will be negative. This shows that there is an inverse relationship between quantity demanded and income. This occurs when an increase in income leads to a fall in demand. Therefore, YED is smaller than 0. When income increases, consumers buy better quality goods and so buy less of the low quality goods. As a result, demand for low quality goods fall. When YED is negative, the good is classified as inferior. For example, if following an increase in income from £40,000 to £50,000, a consumer buys 180 loaves of bread per year instead of 200. Then YED equals to -10 divided by 25 equals to -0.4. Here the value is negative. See here the value is negative. Minus sign -10. Here 10 is minus because here demand fell down. Okay, quantity demanded fell down from 200 to 180. So 180. So here this is a 10% fall in demand. So demand fell down, so sign is negative, and income increased by 25%. Okay. So after calculating, we are getting the value -0.4. Since it is a negative value, it is inferior good. Okay. Remember this very careful. If the value is the main difference between normal goods and inferior goods, we can find out by seeing the value of IED or YED. If the value is positive, it is normal good. If value is negative, it is inferior good. All right. Now let me move to the next slide. Here we can show the income elasticity in brief using this diagram. Look at this diagram carefully. Here we are just we gave the name of this diagram is income elasticity explained. Look at here. What happens if income increases? So here we assume that income is increasing. If income increases for inferior good, demand will fall. Okay. In response to rise in income, so income is rising here. Income is rising. In response to rise in income, demand for inferior good will fall. All right. And we gave one example here also, Tesco valued bread. So this is supermarket own label brand, which is comparatively cheap. Okay. So if income of the people increases, people will buy less cheap product. Instead of cheap product, they will buy expensive or high quality, better quality products. So demand for the low quality or cheap product will fall. Then goods are inferior good. Okay, here see, for inferior goods, higher income, but demand is less. People will buy less. Income is higher, but people buy less. So this is inferior good. Now come to the income inelastic good. If income increases, small rise in demand. For inelastic good, inelastic ID, demand will increase, but it will increase less. So income will increase more, demand will increase less. But this good is normal good. Okay. So normal good could be income elastic, could be income inelastic. All right. So if normal good is the good is income inelastic, then it is called the necessity. Okay. If income inelastic, then it is called the necessity. So for normal goods and necessity, if income increases, demand will also increase, but it will increase less than increase in income. We gave one example here, apples. Apples, a normal good, and it is also, it has inelastic demand and also necessity. Now look at the income elastic and luxury. For income elastic good demand, if income increases, demand will also increase, but bigger increase in demand. Okay, smaller increase in income will lead to a bigger increase in demand. One example is say organic bread. So organic bread is luxurious good because here, since the demand IED is elastic, the value is greater than 1. So it is luxurious good. Here see, apple, it is also normal good. If income increases, demand also increases. But here the value is less than 1. That is why it is necessary. Okay. So both the normal goods, in this case, higher income leads to higher demand. Okay, so this inelastic and elastic both are normal goods here. Inelastic and necessities, and elastic luxurious, right? So both are the normal goods. The difference is for inelastic and in necessity, the value will be less than 1. Okay, and for elastic and luxury, the value will be greater than 1. So this is the main difference between luxurious good and the necessary goods. All right, and normal goods and inferior goods. For normal goods, value will be positive. That means if income increases, demand will also increase. For inferior goods, it will be negative. That means if income increases, demand will fall. Inferior good. Normal goods we can define into two types: necessary goods and the luxurious goods. Necessary goods are the goods which has income in elastic demand. That means the value of elasticity is less than 1. And luxurious goods, the goods which has income elastic demand. That means value of elasticity is greater than 1. All right. Now let me move to the next slide. Okay, so to make it easy, look at this diagram. Here, income elasticity of demand. See here, this is inferior goods. Inferior goods, say if it is origin 0, left side is negative sign, right? Negative value. So if the value belongs to this side, negative side, goods will be inferior goods, having negative signs. And right side to 0, it is normal goods. But normal goods we can divide into two types: luxury and necessity. Okay, necessity is the value is greater than the value of ID is greater than 0 but less than 1. Okay, if the value of elasticity is greater than 0 but less than 1, that is called the necessity. On the other hand, if the value is greater than 1, it is called the luxury. So luxury and necessity both are normal goods. Means these two have positive values of IED, but for normal goods it is negative value. Okay. Now look at this diagram. Sorry. So here, depending on the income elasticity of demand, we can show the different shapes of the demand curve. So normally demand curve is downward sloping, right? See here, this is unusual demand shape of the demand curve. Okay, like the supply curve, positively sloped. There, here we are showing 3 different types of supply curve, demand curves for 3 different types of product. For the luxurious goods, value of elasticity is more than 1. Okay, that is why this demand curve is like the inelastic supply curve. It is positively sloped. Okay, so if the good is luxury, then the shape of the demand curve is like this, upward sloping, and will start from the horizontal axis. If the goods are necessity, then this will be the shape of the demand curve. That means it will start from the vertical axis, which looks like the elastic supply curve. Right? And here, this is the inferior demand curve for the inferior goods. This is negatively sloped. Okay, that means here we are showing the relationship between quantity demanded and income. As income increases, for say here, as income increases, demand for the inferior good will fall. Say we are here, for example. Okay, this is our income. This is quantity demanded. Okay, so if income increases, then quantity demand will fall. That is why the demand curve for inferior good is negatively sloped or downward sloping, and for luxury, see here, so we are here. This is the income. This is the quantity demanded. If income increases, then quantity demand will be increasing. Okay, so that is why these two curves are positively sloped. So this is unusual shape of the demand curve. Okay. So this is all about our today's lecture. I hope this lecture will be helpful for you to understand elasticity of demand in short. Thank you very much for joining with me and remaining attentive. Thank you once again.